Rosie O'Donnell has special needs, and she needs a new toilet seat. I think that's her hero's journey in this film, is she needs a new toilet seat. She's pure of heart with the innocence of a child, and she takes monster dumps in an obvious bid for an Academy Award. Rosie O'Donnell made the bold choice of playing this person who's differently abled by doing straight up Pee Wee Herman voice.
Okay.
So the beginning of the movie, she iconically comes to her balcony and announces that she needs a new toilet seat. And Rosie O'Donnell loves the city bus, and she doesn't go anywhere. She just rides it all day. A lot of people on the bus don't like her. The bus drivers like her. She has a crush on this one dreamy bus driver named Rick. She talks to Rick. Yeah, this is like the movie Speed if nothing ever happened. We just stay on the bus.
Okay.
We're like, surely there's going to be a bomb. Yeah. Keanu Reeves is going to show up. Wait, what if... Okay, it's Speed. Okay, what about this? This guy's like, I put a coloring book on the bus. And if any of you go outside the lines, I blow the bus. And then she comes out, she's like, I need a toilet seat! And he's like, again? Okay. She has a special boyfriend named Jesse. She's a photographer, Andie MacDowell, the sister. She's kind of cold. She ignores her sweet boyfriend. And now we see Andie MacDowell's taking photographs. She's not that happy in her life. They're at the toilet seat store. They can't get help, so we're still not sure if she gets it. Oh, and then her social worker comes to Rosie O'Donnell at the bus stop, and she says that her dad had a heart attack and he dies. Rosie O'Donnell, at night under the moon, is sitting on a park bench, sobbing and eating a donut.
No.
This movie, the poster is her on a bench, and they even have Forrest Gump font. They were trying to make this the new Forrest Gump. Oh. She's sitting on a bench, eating a donut and crying. So Forrest Gump sat on a bench, and he taught us that his mother told him life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And their spin on that is this movie saying that life is not like a box of chocolates. They're saying that life is like a donut. You know what you're going to get. Fat. Life makes us all fat and crying. It's less inspirational. Life will make you cry. Life will make you fat. Get on the bus. Suck it up. You know what you're going to get. Why? Who doesn't know what they're going to get? You're going to get fat and cry. Try to keep a good head about you and try to keep a nice toilet seat. Oh, Forrest Gump spent the whole movie waiting for a bus. And someone saw this movie and said, yes, but what about a guy like Forrest Gump who's on a bus? Someone saw Forrest Gump and they were like, yeah, he meets every great historical figure and he impacts history. But what about the bus? Yeah. What if there was a sequel to Forrest Gump where he was just on a bus and it was sad? And no one liked him on the bus. The entire movie of Forrest Gump is a sweeping metaphor for the history of the 20th century. So this movie asked the question, what if instead of telling his amazing life story to another person on a bench, what if instead of telling the story, he was crying and eating a donut and told no story? Doesn't that tell its own story? Isn't crying and eating a donut a better story than all of Forrest Gump? I tell you what happens when you cry and eat a donut. Nobody gets AIDS. I'll tell you that, slut. Hey, you want to go have unprotected sex with a heroin addict? Have a donut. Shut up. This is a better movie than Forrest Gump. Rosie O'Donnell, you've done it again. So then she calls her sister and she's like, Dad's dead. She kind of does a Pee-wee. That should be a service called Bad News from Special People. They're at the funeral, and everyone's doing that symbolic thing where, you pick up a handful of dirt and put it on the casket. The whole movie is mostly Andie MacDowell having flashbacks. So she goes, dirt, eh? She's having her sister eat mud and laughing at her. And the mom comes out, and she goes, how many times do I have to tell you? Which makes you think, how many times has she eaten mud?
Yeah.
And then nobody wants to take care of her. Because I guess the dad was taking care of Rosie. So then she takes her to the store, and then she goes to the store, and she's like, you're eating a lot of junk food. Then there's another flashback. As a child, Rosie's eating paint.
No!
And the mom's like, stop feeding her. Why are you trying to kill your sister?
Yeah.
There's even a scene where she's saying to her dad, is she going to die? And he goes, no. And she's like, okay, good. And she smiles because she's like, well, I want to be able to keep feeding her things. Yeah, it's almost like she hadn't even thought about her sister. She was too busy photographing models. She's like, I need to photograph brides holding puppies. And I don't care who dies.
Yeah.
It'd be like if it turns out like those puppy calendars. There's a guy that he's ignoring his wife and children. And he's like an alcoholic. And his kids are like, Daddy, come home and spend time with us. And he's like, do you know what it takes out of me? The alcoholism. I have to hit your mother every month just to get my genius going to do the people need the puppies. I have to jerk off in public. Right. And I'm going to have to start smoking crack when it's time for the hunky fireman calendar. We don't talk about the torture geniuses that are behind the cute art.
Yeah.
Like, it turns out the guy who did the poster of the cat on a rope and says, just hang in there, that guy his brains out. He did not hang in there. But we'll always have his genius. Oh, he was also a horrible person.
Yeah.
Why aren't we Me Tooing? We realize that the inspirational calendar guys are all pieces of shit. You don't have to be crazy to work here, but I'm hard. Yeah, he was a Me Too. That was a Me Too. We changed it to It Helps. But that guy, originally it was But I'm Hard. They were all mad sexual perverts. Like the Roman Polanski of inspirational quotes. Teamwork, suck it. Teamwork. All the inspirational quotes you love, that was not the first draft. Oh, and then she goes to her social worker, and they're like, you need goals. Rosie has the same goal every year, to go to Disney World and to spend a day with her niece and nephew. Oh. They're like, look, we're going to put her in a home, Andy McDowell, unless you can just spend 3 months with her to get her back on her feet, because the dad was taking care of her. The poor boyfriend is like, Andy McDowell, I didn't even know you had a sister. And then he goes, nothing gets in the way of your career. That's all you care about. And he leaves. They've broken up. Then she decides, okay, you know what? I'm going to live with you for 3 months. She commits. She's always hanging out with the bus drivers. There's a scene where she goes into the lounge for the bus drivers. She insists on using the restroom. And one guy's like, this is for bus drivers. And she's like, I don't care. I'm using the restroom. Mm-hmm. She's the Rosa Parks of using the employee restroom when you don't work there. I think this is proof that she still doesn't have a toilet seat at home. And then now Andy McDowell's taking photos on the bus. There's another depressing flashback where the mom's like, all right, this is your new dad now. His name's Raymond, and he's a piece of shit. We're going to be drunk now for a while. Fuck you. Now we're at the end of the 3 months, and they're kind of like, well, it's been 3 months. And Rosie's like, yeah, you can leave. And she's like, okay, I guess I'll leave. And she's about to get on a bus. And she's like, you know what? You're weird, but I love you. And she's like, I love you too, Rosie. So they love each other, but they kind of just break it off. But then the last scene of the movie, art exhibition. It's all of the photographs that she's been taking of her sister and her friends on the bus. All of her rich friends at the art gallery are like, I can't believe how weird people on the bus look. Like, is this really? Like, yeah, they're really like that. They're like, you're so brave. Yeah. They're telling her this is your greatest work ever. I think the whole movie, she wasn't even trying to get to know her sister. Oh. I think she was just using her, like her boyfriend said, all she cared about is her career, but then the photos are so good, now her boyfriend comes back. She's become the artist she always wanted to be. Her boyfriend comes back. Everybody loves her because of the time she spent with her sister. Meanwhile, we cut back to Rosie. She's just on the bus. And her dream the whole movie was to go to Disney World and to spend time with her niece and nephew. Neither one of them happens. She doesn't go to Disney World. She doesn't even get a goddamn toilet seat. Basically, how bad Rosie O'Donnell's life is makes her sister's lives better. I think when she was having those flashbacks, she was like, that was so much cool stuff I did. It was all worth it. It was all part of her plan. She's like, that's just the beginning. My sister has been my masterpiece. I've been feeding her mud and paint for 30 years. If my calculations are correct, at midnight tonight, she's going to shit out a life-size statue of herself. And it's going to stand perfectly in the bowl because I stole her toilet seat. So, this is like 7. She's like, people will be talking about what I've done here. It's funny that when Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump got into that public feud, he never brought this movie up. He's like, she's not smart. I've seen the footage. Maybe when he was insulting her publicly, he thought that... He thought that the movie was just a documentary about her. She's the loser. Hey, Rosie, I've been to Disney World. I go all the time. I ride the rides. I wear the mouse ears. Jealous? The past was doing its best.
That's the theme song.
Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Leave them alone. They were doing their best.